Right now in South Florida, the housing market isn't just hot, it's being completely rewritten by one thing: cash. In some of our cities, almost half of all home sales are all cash deals. Let that sink in. West Palm Beach is actually leading the entire country, with a mind-blowing 47.2% of homes being bought with cash. Miami's not far behind at 38.1%, and Fort Lauderdale is seeing nearly 36% of its market go to cash. This isn't just a trend, it's a tidal wave of money flooding our communities, and it's locking thousands of people out of the dream of owning a home. If you're a buyer with a mortgage, you know the feeling. You've spent weeks, maybe months, hunting for the perfect home. You get your finances in order, you scrape together a strong competitive offer, maybe you even bid over the asking price, and then you get the call. You lost. You lost to a cash deal that you never really stood a chance against. It feels like the game is rigged, because in a lot of ways, it is. So in this video, we're pulling back the curtain. This isn't just another market update. We're going to show you exactly who these cash buyers are, from secretive Wall Street funds to the global elite looking for a safe place to park their fortune. We'll break down the market mechanics that give them what feels like total control. And most importantly, we're going to figure out what this all means for you and the future of South Florida. Let's be real, the frustration is everywhere. It's a feeling of total helplessness that so many hardworking families across South Florida are going through. You play by all the rules, you do everything you're supposed to, only to find out you're not even playing the same game as the competition. This isn't just a few bad breaks, it's a massive shift that has created a huge divide between people with cash and everyone who needs a loan. The numbers don't lie. While the national average for cash purchases is around 27%, South Florida is in a completely different league. This isn't a small difference. It's basically created a two-tiered market. In the top tier, you have the cash is king crowd, who can move with incredible speed and certainty. And then there's everyone else, the families, the young professionals, the people who make our communities what they are, left fighting for whatever is left. But the real heartbreak here is the impact on the next generation of homeowners. The percentage of first-time homebuyers has crashed to historic lows. These are the people who are supposed to be building equity, putting down roots, and starting families. Instead, they're being pushed to the sidelines. They're told to save more, to bid higher, but how can you possibly compete with an opponent who can close a deal in 7 days? No questions asked. And this does more than just create financial stress. It takes a huge psychological toll. The constant cycle of getting your hopes up for a home you love, only to have it snatched away, is emotionally draining. It creates a sense of hopelessness, making people wonder if owning a home in the community they grew up in is even possible anymore. When you hear a real estate agent in Fort Lauderdale say that first-time buyers are getting cold feet after seeing the true monthly costs, it's a huge red flag. The sticker price is one thing, but when you pile on soaring insurance rates, HOA fees, and property taxes, the barrier to entry becomes a fortress wall, and cash is the only thing that can break it down. So, who are these buyers with seemingly bottomless bank accounts? It's not just one group, it's a mix of different players, all with their own reasons for being here, but all having the same effect on the market. To really get what's going on, you have to understand who they are. First up, you have the retirees and snowbirds. This is probably the group you see the most. With a median age of 56 for all cash buyers, it's clear a lot of them are boomers cashing out of their homes up north. They aren't investors in the traditional sense. They're buying a lifestyle. They've spent decades building up equity in places like New York, New Jersey, or Illinois. They sell a regular suburban house for a price that feels like hitting the lottery, and they land here with hundreds of thousands, if not millions, in cash. Their goal is simple: a sunny, tax-friendly retirement. They want a property that's ready to go, and paying cash is the cleanest way to do it. It's not about returns, it's about ease and security. Next, we've got the relocators from high-cost states. This group is a huge economic force behind the cash boom. These are the people moving from super expensive markets like California, Washington, and the Northeast. Their superpower is something called real estate arbitrage. And finally, and this is a huge one for South Florida, there's the international elite. Miami has always been a global city, but now it's become one of the world's top safe deposit boxes for international money. We have buyers from 73 different countries in our market, especially from Latin America, think Colombia and Argentina and Canada. For many of these buyers, the main goal isn't profit, it's protecting their wealth. They're moving their money out of politically or economically unstable countries and into the safety of U.S. real estate. A South Florida condo isn't just a vacation spot, it's a stable asset that protects their family's fortune. An incredible 66% of all foreign buyers in Southeast Florida pay all cash. This fire hose of global demand keeps our prices high, even when the local economy is struggling. You see it most in places like Lauderdale by the Sea and Palm Beach, where cash deals can make up over 80% of all sales. Knowing who the cash buyers are is one thing, but to really get why they win so often, you have to look past their bank accounts and break down the nuts and bolts of a real estate deal. Their power isn't just about money, it's about what not having a lender does for them at the negotiating table. For any seller, a cash offer is better in 3 huge ways: certainty, speed, and simplicity. Let's start with certainty. Think about it from the seller's perspective. When they accept an offer from someone with a mortgage, they're not just dealing with the buyer, they're also dealing with the buyer's bank. That brings a ton of risk into the deal, thanks to the financing contingency. During that 30 to 60-day closing period, the loan could fall apart for any reason. The buyer could lose their job, their credit score could dip, the bank could change its rules. If that happens, the deal is dead, and the seller has to start all over again, losing valuable time. A cash offer wipes out that risk completely. No lender, no underwriter, no financing contingency. The only question is the money there? For a seller with their own life plans on hold, that certainty is often worth more than a slightly higher offer from a buyer with a loan. It's a sure thing. Next is speed. The typical closing with a mortgage is a long, painful process. It's full of appraisals, underwriting, credit checks, and mountains of paperwork that can easily take 30, 45, or even 60 days. A cash buyer is on a totally different clock. With no bank involved, they can close a deal in as little as 7 to 10 days. Imagine you're a seller who needs to move for a new job. The chance to get your money in a week instead of waiting 2 months is an unbelievably powerful motivator. This speed gives cash buyers massive leverage. By the way, if you're finding this breakdown useful for navigating this crazy market, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. We drop deep dives like this every single week to give you the clarity you need. Finally, there's simplicity, which really boils down to one thing: avoiding the appraisal headache. For any finance deal, the bank insists on an appraisal to make sure the house is worth the price. This is another major point where things can go wrong. If the appraisal comes in low, it creates an appraisal gap. The buyer has to come up with more cash, the seller has to lower the price, or the deal collapses. It's a huge point of stress. Cash buyers, they can just waive the appraisal contingency entirely. They are their own bank. If they think the home is worth the price, that's all that matters. By removing that one obstacle, they give the seller a clean, simple, and far more attractive path to closing. This trifecta of certainty, speed, and simplicity doesn't just help cash buyers win. It's what creates that 2-tiered market we talked about, where sellers just start to expect cash. It forces financed buyers to bid even higher just to get attention, even when it's the terms, not the price, that the seller really cares about. After all that, it's easy to feel defeated. It can sound completely hopeless. So, should you just give up if you need a mortgage? Absolutely not. But you can't use the old playbook anymore. You have to change your strategy, get aggressive, and start thinking like an investor. Your goal is to make your financed offer look and feel as close to a cash offer as you possibly can. Here's how you fight back. First, and this is your most powerful weapon, get a fully underwritten pre-approval. A standard pre-qualification letter is basically worthless in this market. It's a quick glance that doesn't mean much. A fully underwritten pre-approval, sometimes called a mortgage commitment, is a different beast entirely. This is where you give all your financial documents to the lender up front, before you even find a home. An underwriter reviews your entire file and gives you a formal commitment for a loan. When you submit that commitment letter with your offer, you're sending a powerful signal. Your financing is not a risk. It lets your agent tell the seller's agent, "My buyer is rock solid. We can close just as fast as a cash buyer. We just need the appraisal." This move alone puts you back in the game. Second, you have to tackle the appraisal issue directly. You need to be ready to offer appraisal gap coverage. This is a simple clause in your offer that says you're willing to pay the difference in cash if the property appraises for less than your offer, up to a certain amount. For example, you could offer to cover a gap of $10,000 or $20,000. This immediately neutralizes one of the biggest fears a seller has about your offer. It shows you're confident and financially stable, and it can often make your offer more attractive than a lower-priced cash deal. Third, think outside the box and offer flexibility on other terms. Remember, sellers are people. Find out what they need. Do they need to stay in the home for a month after closing? Offer them a free 30-day leaseback. It's a huge perk for them that costs you very little. Can you offer a larger deposit to show you're serious? These small, non-financial concessions can make your offer stand out. It shows you're not just trying to buy a house, you're trying to help them solve their problem. And finally, you can try the personal touch. A well-written letter explaining who you are and why you love their home can sometimes make a real difference, especially if the seller has lived there for a long time. They might prefer to see their home go to another family who will love it, instead of to a faceless corporation that's just going to rent it out. It doesn't always work, but when it's a close call, that human element can be the thing that puts you over the top. And a quick tip for sellers: don't get blinded by the word cash. An investor's cash offer is often a lowball offer, designed to be well below market value. A highly motivated buyer with a fully underwritten approval and appraisal gap coverage might actually put more money in your pocket at closing. Look at the whole package, not just one word. So let's put it all together. A massive wave of cash from retirees, out-of-state relocators, Wall Street firms, and the global elite has created a two-tiered real estate market in South Florida. Their power comes from the certainty, speed, and simplicity they offer sellers, a combination that traditional buyers have struggled to match. Looking ahead, you have to understand that this is the new normal. The forces driving this, Florida's lifestyle and its status as a global destination, aren't going away. Cash will likely stay king, which will keep prices firm and continue to squeeze affordability. Navigating this market takes more than just a Zillow alert and a prayer. It demands a real strategy, a deep understanding of the game, and an expert to help you craft an offer that can actually win.